Hello, thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fire. Next time. Probably noticed my subject that I had up, so y'all say y'all don't snitch. Uh, I'm I'm really gonna get into that because I have a good reason for bringing that up. You can see I'm in my another studio. I got about 3 studios here. This is a big studio that I have when I have guests. Got other mics on the sides. You can't see them, but I have other mics and other chairs. I move those out the way. This one I'll be here when you see me with my guests. But I I brought up this subject. Hold on a second. I gotta look at my just my monitor here. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's okay. Now, see the problem I have is that we always say we don't snitch. But we're some of the biggest snitches there is. When we say we don't snitch on criminals, but we snitch on everyone else. You notice, we tell everybody's business. You see the celebrities all over social media telling each other's business or snitching. Sometimes stuff that don't even need to be known. If you be around a person you're their friend, you're gonna know things about them. Probably did some of it with them. If you notice, did any of them snitch on Diddy? Anyone snitch on him? He was a criminal. If it's true, well, he's charged with crimes. I guess he's a criminal because, like they say, innocent until proven guilty. 'Cause I know he kicked the woman, but he's not on trial for that right now. He's on trial for sex trafficking and um, prostitution, whatever he's in for. But he's not in for beating the woman in the hotel. But what happened is no one snitched on him, and I'm saying this for a reason. We tell all of our business out, and I always give our enemies a reprieve when things come up about us. Like we have to be perfect, or we deserve everything we get if we're not perfect. Now I'm talking about black people. If we're not perfect, we deserve everything that happens to us. And I'll tell you why. I was looking at the South African leader at the White House. I was looking at a video someone had, and they had different people coming on there speaking on it. And sure enough, here come this guy, this Negro, want to talk about what black people have done. And what they didn't know is that those pictures of those graves that Trump had, those was actually graves that was from Rwanda of black women who had been raped and burned. But he brought those pictures as though they were graves of white farmers in South Africa. And people knew he was lying. And see, I'll tell you why I say about snitching. You notice, I used to notice I came up in a time when, there was a lot of racial stuff going on. And every white person, black people had just started coming on to talk shows on television. And every time they talked to a white person always said, I'm not a racist and I don't know any racists. Nobody knew a racist. The police, they know what other policemen are doing. They know the policemen who have killed people and gotten away with it. But they don't tell it. And I say to say that, see, when I was watching that video, there was one Negro came on, well, black people do things like that. Black people own slaves, and he was talking about how black people own slaves. And then he went for some, I even thought of Harriet Tubman had a husband. What have her having a husband got to do with anything? I've always known that. But look, we tell everything. Let other people bring stuff against us. Let's don't do it ourselves. And let's don't plead their case for them. Let them plead it. Don't nobody plead our case. They try to deny all of our suffering. But to say that black people own slaves, what people you know who have been through atrocities and some of their people didn't help in that atrocity? That's worldwide. That's all. You're always going to have some of your people who participated with the people who brought about your suffering and even genocide. That you're always going to have some of your people involved. And that's just not black people, that's all over the world. But we are like everything bad is attributed to only us. There may have been black people on some slaves, very few, not on the level that the white people did. And what does that have to do with what the white folks did? Because we're not perfect. That means we deserve anything that happens to us. And that's where many of us talk a lot of time. We always want to bring up what black people are doing wrong. Because we're not perfect, we deserve it. I'm going to tell you something that I found out, and it's kept secret. A lot of people don't know about this, but you can look it up yourself. During World War II, there was close to 250,000 Jews in the Nazi army. But you don't hear about that, do you? The Jews don't sit around and talk about that. Some of those Jews helped lead other Jews into the ovens to be gassed and killed. They helped with the suffering of their people. But when people bring up the Holocaust, do you hear Jews saying, well, Jews were Nazis, Jews killed Jews? Only we do that. Other people don't do that. They deny it. You know, you don't even hear that. Some of you probably never even knew that before. I didn't know it. But there were Jews in the Nazi army who helped kill Jews. But if there was black people, we'd tell it every time somebody mentioned it. Jews not saying the Holocaust was okay because some Jews did it too. But a lot of our people would say it. We think that if our people are not perfect, we deserve anything we get. That's how people like Candace Owens, Lee Elder, Tim Scott, they made a living off of bringing up black people, black things that black people did. We're not perfect. No one else is, but we're not perfect. We deserve everything we get. Let those people bring a case against us. Let's not bring it against ourselves. Yeah, we did some things wrong. I mean, we wasn't perfect. But let other people bring up our imperfections. Not us. Don't give them a reprieve, because every time I see I watch shows where they have been talking about certain issues and they have the people on the wall, on the ropes. There's always a black person coming on and say something to let them up off the ropes. They were talking about the way black children. I remember a show years ago I was watching. Yeah, it was a talk show. I forget which talk show it was because it's been a long time ago. And they were talking about how many of the black children are treated in school. And you could see the white people, they was kind of sitting there listening with an understanding look on their face. But you know what happened? It was a black woman. Got up and I knew this was going to happen. Yeah, but I don't know, because a lot of these kids are bad. They are bad. And I can see, you can see the white folks kind of relax. Why do we have to do that? Do we think our people got to be perfect? Or we deserve anything people do to us? We don't people do that. Like I said, what I said about the Jews, there was almost 250,000 Jews in the Nazi army, but you never hear about that. Reason being, they don't snitch on their people. We do. We do it all the time. But we don't snitch on criminals. We give them a reprieve. No, no, I don't snitch. I do my time before I snitch, which is crazy. If they tell me what happened, or you get life, I tell whatever they want to hear. I'm not going to jail for somebody else. I don't even want to go for myself. I know I'm not going for somebody else. You make up something if I have to. I mean, say self-preservation. Because I guarantee you the other person going to go in there and snitch on you. Well, I look like I'm going to jail and you go home. I'm doing life and you at home. Now we both gonna do life, or I'm gonna be at home and you doing life. I'm gonna look out for myself, just and you going to also. But look, we have to quit giving people ammunition against us. We give it to them. Well, black people did this, black people did that. I never heard Jews saying, well, Jews was in the Nazi army. They killed Jews. You'll never hear them say that. Any people who've been through suffering at the hands of other people, their people helped. Some of their people helped. But we think black people are supposed to be different. But I notice that everywhere. People expect us to be perfect. And they really kind of indoctrinate you in it. If you notice, all over social media, they're showing these exceptional black people who just doing things that it's like if you're not one of these, you're nobody. But you don't see them doing that with other people. They're so normal, everyday people. But with black people, you have to be the ones with the perfect SAT score, the perfect 1600, the valedictorian. You're not the valedictorian, you're nothing. But we're just normal people, just like everyone else. But they do this to play with our minds. They've really done a job on us. Because it got many of us thinking if I'm not doing the best, I'm nothing. Because I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen it with kids when I used to take kids on field trips, take them to the Cardinals game. Now a lot of them felt like they had to be special, stand out. That's why a lot of people go buy fancy cars they can't afford, trying to stand out. If I don't have a Mercedes, then I ain't got nothing. And that's that black people expect, which they say we're inferior, but we're the only people who are expected to do everything perfect. If it's not perfect, we failed. I was watching a show one time, and this was when I think when Joe Biden beat Donald Trump, and I think the black, or maybe when Hillary ran, the black men and black women, it was just a 4-point difference. Excuse me. It was just a 4-point difference, percentage points different in the black male and black female vote. The black female had 4% more than the black males. But and in a national election, that's really almost like a dead heat. But what happened was the host of the show said, well, like the black male needs to they need to get their vote up. We need to get them up to where the women are at. No, you don't. No, you don't. You got other people, the men and women, the way they vote is maybe 30, 40 points different from each other. And we just got a 4-point difference? And you think we failed? See, we got to be perfect. If we don't do it perfect, we failed. We're the only people expected to be perfect, but you say we're inferior. We're on the bottom, but we're always expected to be perfect because you know that's not true about us. You try to keep us on the bottom. But your day is coming, and it's coming soon. I see it. We don't, the Latinos, many of them know that many of theirs voted for the felon in the office who sent some of their people away. But they don't think that they failed. That was us. We be calling each other all out. We don't keep nothing to ourselves. We tell everything on our people. We're the biggest snitchers in the world. But I always saying we don't snitch. Except, like I said, except when it comes to criminals. Wasn't nobody snitching on Diddy, was they? They wasn't snitching on R. Kelly. They wasn't snitching on the parents who allowed their children to go and be with them. They said, R. Kelly, the kids will leave, I'm knocking my stuff off. The kids will leave R. Kelly's house. The parents will come pick them up, and they get an envelope full of money. They were selling their children. That's what they were doing. Because I tell you why. Now, this is a little off subject, but I'm going to go back to the subject. Usually when a child is molested, they're molested by a relative or close friend. You know why? Most people's children are not around other people like that. They're not. When I took kids around to the field trips and games, I wasn't even around people alone with any kids like that. And I had plenty of them with me. When I was dropping them off, I'm driving the van. If the little girl in there, what's she gonna be with me about 4 or 5 minutes at the most, and I'm driving. She's in the back. Drop off, that's it. You're a pretty pitiful parent if your child is somewhere with an adult and you don't know it. They know it. Like I say, it's very rare for an outside person or a stranger to molest people's children. It can happen, but it's rare because they usually don't have that kind of access to people's children. But they didn't snitch on Kelly. People knew it. They didn't snitch on Diddy. Any criminal, we don't snitch on them. But we'll snitch on our people in a minute. Y'all, like I said, they're all over social media. The black celebrities. How can they go tell jokes or do tour, sing or whatever? They busy all over social media snitching on each other. Calling each other out. Because they didn't live perfect. Look, people on that level, they do all kind of stuff. Everybody know it. Look, in Hollywood, they knew what Bill Cosby was doing. Everybody did. Because that was a common thing back then. They had to. Those celebrities have those kind of parties. And it's people, a lot of people, plenty of people who can snitch on them. But they didn't. You know why? People don't snitch on criminals. Especially our people. We don't snitch on criminals. But any little thing our people do, if it's not perfect, we deserve everything we got. Slavery was okay because some black people had some slaves. But you'll never see the Jews saying the Holocaust was okay because there were some Jewish soldiers who helped kill some Jews. Only we do that. Let them people find out stuff for themselves. Quit calling your people out all the time. You know, I heard Candace Owens, and the way she talked, I wish I could talk with her. See, they let her rat off at the mouth, don't nobody interrupt her. She says things that she don't even substantiate it. But the thing is, the stuff she says is just normal human stuff. And because black people didn't do something perfect, that means we deserve anything we get. Do we have to be perfect? Like the perfect human being? Or we deserve anything that comes our way? That's the way people act. Like, well, we have to be perfect. We can't do anything wrong, or we deserve anything we can that people do to us. Just, well, there were some black people. They were complicit in South Africa. So what? Like I said, all people gonna have some of their people who are going to be complicit to what happens to them. Why should black people be any different? But everybody don't snitch on their people like we do. You're not going to hear the Latinos say it's okay that those people being shipped out of the country, sent down to prisons, because a lot of our people voted for Trump. You're not going to hear Latinos say that. But if it was black people, they'd say it. But black people would say, well, a lot of us voted for Trump, so we shouldn't have nothing. We shouldn't have. We shouldn't have nothing to say. A lot of us voted for Trump, but you're not going to hear them say that. You know why? They don't hate their people like we do. We don't like our people. I know y'all looking at me funny. Let's look at this. Who do black people treat the worst? Black people. We treat everybody better than we treat black people. Go to the store, watch the poor service you get, and then the white person behind you get good service. Watch black people down the street the way we interact with each other. We don't. We walk around like we're mad at each other. You go to ask a black person a question, even in a business, especially a black woman, they're looking at you like, what the hell he want? What he coming over here for? That's the look they have on their face. We don't like each other. The only time we unite is when somebody ready to crack our heads. Other than that, we don't want nothing to do with each other. You know why? We've been indoctrinated. Just like white people came up in this system and it taught them that they were supreme, black people have been hearing the same thing and think they're better than us. What you see all over social media, boy, and when you talk to black people, we say, black people are always doing this, black people this, black people that. What other people you hear saying that about themselves? You don't hear white people say, excuse me, white people do this, white people that. You don't hear white people making up negative, false stereotypes about themselves. Black people do. Most of the stereotypes out there about black people do. You know, black people made up most of them. What other people make up negative, false stereotypes about themselves? About the men? Black men deadbeat dads. Yeah, the ones you got with know you weren't married to. And then a lot of times he already had somebody else. You went and had a baby by him. But the statistics say black fathers, and you can look it up yourself, are the most engaging and loving fathers. I know you're gonna say, oh no, they're not. They're talking about the ones who be with their children. Not that pookie you got who don't be around. See, everybody want to judge things by their situation. You should put yourself in that situation. You knew he was a hood dude. You knew he was a hood. You know he was a Pookie Ray Ray when you could have Paul and Raymond and you didn't want them. You come to Paul and Raymond after you have 3 babies and put on 75 pounds. Then you might come get them because you want to choose the worst and try to get this settled for the best. But let's get back to the subject though. But the thing about it is that we believe every negative thing about us. Then when you say something positive, oh, I don't believe that. Every black woman that you tell, the statistics say black men are the best fathers. They don't believe it because they're looking at their situations that they put themselves in. We believe any negative thing about us because we started a lot of it. We're the only ones who start, the only people I know of on this earth who would start stereotypes about themselves. That's crazy. No other people would do that. Now see, back to what I was saying about with the guy on the video. He's just trying to say black people committed atrocities in South Africa. Yeah, they did during apartheid. But one thing, but I know we talking about when they was using the necklace, they called it the necklace. They put a tire around people's neck with gas in it and burn it and set it on fire. But they were doing it to the collaborators who's collaborating with apartheid. But I didn't agree with that though, because we go so much after the black collaborators, we never get to the white folks. There was not one white person had one of those necklaces, tire necklace put on them. It was all black people. We don't want to go after black collaborators because you're scared to go after the white people who's perpetrating it, who they're helping to collaborate, who they're collaborating with. But what does that have to do with apartheid? That means apartheid was okay because some black people collaborated? So slavery was okay because some black people owned some slaves? As I said, there's no people on the earth who haven't contributed to their people suffering and collaborated with the people who's making them suffer. But when black people do it, that means we deserve anything we get. But others don't. They get a reprieve. We know they helped, but we gotta forgive them. They knew not what they were doing. But instead, black people, well, you can't complain about slavery because some black people had slaves. Like I said, you'll never hear Jews say, well, you can't complain about the Holocaust because there were some Jews who were Nazis. They'll never do that because they love their people. We don't. We can't stand each other, most of us. Don't want nothing to do with each other. The only reason we do, because the other people really don't want to be bothered with us. That's the only reason we deal with each other. If other people want to be bothered with us, we'll be all over them. We'll do that anyway. Just marching with them at work. And it's just about to take somebody to come and do something physical to us for us to unite and work as one. Like they did down in Alabama. It was a physical thing because, some of us just like to fight anyway. And we fighting the wrong people. They fought the right people down there. You take a black woman. She stand up in an Asian shop and let a little 90-pound, she's 175 pounds, let a little 90-pound Asian woman whoop her butt, claiming she stole some lashes or something. But then that same woman would fight 2 or 3 black women because you don't like your own. White man stand up and argue with a black man. He's trying to convince him, oh, you're a racist. As soon as a black man says something to you, you're ready to punch him out or shoot him or something. See, I don't care who's a racist. I don't care. There's never going to be equality. That's what we got to realize. Anytime you have a difference of anything, if I had 2 phones up here and they're different, they're never going to be equal. But who gets to say what goes on is the people who are in control, who has the majority. We don't have the majority. There's never going to be equality. And if black people weren't here, and this was an all white country, there still wouldn't be equality because they're gonna find somebody else to have a new boogeyman. They'll find some white people. Maybe the white people they're still going by class, or they live in trailers, or they got red hair. or they got blind, or they'll find some reason to discriminate against each other. Black people do the same thing. We'll find some black people. But then when we do it, you're like as though we're the only ones who do that. There's not going to be any equality. Let's stop that. What you do, you try to make things fair, but it's not going to be equal. You can forget that. It haven't been equal in all this time, and it's not going to be. But people want to keep trying to make it that way, and you're shooting for something that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, like I say, they're having a pretty rough time over there in Africa. No, not really though. They tried to kill Abraham. He's like Abraham, but starts with an I. Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, and his black general. See, I'm telling you, here we go again. This black United States general talked against him. He's taking the gold and he's using it for his security. But yet, he wasn't worried about what was happening to the gold when the French was stealing all of it from them. He wasn't worried about the gold then. And everything he said was a lie. And what if he is? They do what they want to do with their gold. It's none of his business. Let me take a break and I'll be right back. I'm going to do some more quick. I'll be back in about a minute. I'm going to let me get this commercial going. Take this down. I'm the engineer and everything tonight. And
what's good, everybody? My name is Brandon Hunter, also known as OG Brando, and I am the founding formulator for the Origin of Greatness. In front of me, I have my product, the OG Hair Sheen, which is all-around great moisturizer, and then I have my hemp seed butter, which is all-around great moisturizer for the skin as well. If you have any questions about either of my products, please, you can find me at the Origin of Greatness on Instagram, the OG LLC on Facebook, and at our website at theog.net. And also be on the lookout for the OG in collab and connection with Tierra Speaks. You might just catch us, with some. We got a little collab going on. She got her thing with her self-care box, and so we got some things coming. But greatness is definitely on the way. Onward and upward.
Hi, we're here today to promote.
okay, I'm back. As I've been stating, we have to stop looking for perfection from each other when other people don't have to be perfect. We think we got to snitch on each other because we didn't do everything perfect. And then when it comes to someone of a criminal enterprise, all of a sudden we don't snitch. We're been told on everyone else. We need to be ashamed of ourselves the way we treat each other. We are not treating each other very well. And you all know it. And they of all the people, the white people and everyone, they was going along talking about, South Africa and it's none and the and Donald, they was against Trump for what he said. But always that one Negro come along and want to make it act as though it's okay. Because some black, they talking about Black people owned slaves, so slavery was okay. So if all of us are not perfect, we're not perfect, we do something wrong, and we deserve anything we get. And that's what most of these conservatives do. Lee Elder, Candace Owens, Tim Scott, and all the others, they use they dig up things that black people did that wasn't quite right. They don't always be lying, but let these other people plead the case. Let's not plead the case against ourselves. We're not perfect. Yeah, we do some things, a lot of things we shouldn't do. But so does everyone else. That don't mean that they deserve anything to happen to them because all of them didn't do the right thing. And that's basically what they do. They bring up the negative side of black people. You listen to Candace Owens and Lee Elder, Tim Scott, you think black people don't do anything right. But Candace Owens backed down off of it because they just about to gave her the boot. You know, white folks not thinking about it no more, trying to come back to black people. They're going about her business. She hoard around for them. They don't need to let them come back. Why we want her back? And she always bringing up the things that black people did that wasn't quite kosher. But if you want to just dig up things about a person, some things they did wrong, or things that they shouldn't do, that's just about anyone. But if you notice one thing about those people I mentioned, they never bring up the things that white people did wrong because they want to keep that money coming in. And now they gave Candace the boot after all that she did. Yeah, they never mention. You think you listen to people like Candace Owens, Tim Scott, Lee Elder, you would think white people never do anything wrong. Only black people does things wrong. And you listen to most black people, you would think that. If you notice, you don't see black people on social media really talking about white people much or clowning them, but we do it to each other all day long. All type of negative things about black people. We'll find something. You can count on one hand all day long something you may see black people say negative about white people. That what I tell you when we do, they have to do something. If they don't do nothing, we're not gonna say anything. But they say whatever they want to about us, and we don't have to do nothing. They troll black people posts and pages because you know why? The algorithm is those black fights you see, you put up, a lot of white people watch that. And the algorithm is triggered towards them. That's why they be all over looking at them. And you notice, I see a lot of, that's why black people don't see as many white fights, and there's plenty. Because the algorithm is not towards you. Because when you do see the white fights, the white people talk about the fight. But when it's black people talking, they're bringing up stuff about their race. See, we don't troll them like they do us. We don't have time for that childish stuff. Grow up, white folks, and stop cut that mess out. And the ones who do it, you know who I'm talking about. Man, and the difference is, you don't see. I'm gonna just show you again. Getting back to the subject. You notice when they talk against black people, then when black people start firing back, they come on the black people page and we're all one race, we're all one people, we all need to get along, we all bleed red. But when those white people are talking about black people, they don't say that to them. Why do we have to be the ones to always solve everything, be the conscience, the moral conscience of this nation? We're supposed to be low lives, remember? Why should we be the moral conscience then? See, if the things you say don't add up, we're supposed to be inferior, yet we expect to be perfect. Or we deserve everything we get if we're not perfect. We supposed to be savages, but you expect us to be the moral conscience of this nation. We're the ones who's supposed to always do the right thing. You do whatever you want to. And we're supposed to respond. You put violence, we're supposed to respond with peace. That should be you. You're supposed to be superior. You're the ones we should be the ones doing violence towards you, and you should be responding with peace. You're supposed to be superior, and we're supposed to be inferior. You say, they try to talk about when black people kill white people. We haven't even started scratching the surface. But look, but there's a difference when black people kill white people. Black people don't do anything to white people that we don't do to black people. Black people don't kill white people because they're white. They kill them in some other reason, robbery, in a fight, or something like that. They don't kill them because they're white. White people basically kill black people because they're of race. Even the man that ran down Lamont Arbery ran him over in his truck because he was jogging and he had stopped to look at the inside of a house that was being built. I've done that before. Even the white people in that neighborhood say they've done it. When he ran down Lamont Arbery, they were going to let him get away with it. He ran him down because he was black. And they were going to let him get away. They wasn't going to even charge him. You know how they got charged? The friend thought they was getting away with it, so he going to add more to it and brought the video. Thought he was going to vindicate them, and that's what got them thrown in jail. And you can hear the man that shot Lamont Arbery. You can hear him on it. He used to be a police officer. He's a retired police officer. Say F that N word. And that what made it a hate crime, a federal hate crime. They don't get charged for that now. The felon in the Oval Office, he stopped it where they won't get charged with a federal crime anymore. Remember the man that killed Bill Cosby's son? At first, people thought it was just a robber. People rob people. He was a guy from Russia. But then he went and told his girlfriend, I killed me an N-word tonight. And that's what changed it all. And made it a hate crime also. See, they mentions the stuff they do. That's how they get caught. What George Zimmerman did to Trayvon Martin was a hate crime. You go start a fight with somebody, and because you losing the fight, you're going to shoot them and talk about you was standing your ground on a fight that you started. He didn't start, you started it. They know when their people do wrong, but they don't call them on it. Have you been over in Ferguson and seen where Michael Brown was killed? They got a smaller it's like a square tar. It's asphalted off where Michael Brown's body lay, and they got a bigger one for where the police car was. Now, get this. They say he reached in the car. And the police knew this, but they helped him get away with it. And Michael Brown was hitting him from outside the car. But yet when they showed his face, the picture of his face, it wasn't a big, Michael Brown was over 6 feet tall, he was big. Now he would have messed that man's face up. It's like some woman just slapped him in the face. They took him to the police station, slapped him around a little bit. Now, but his injuries was on his right side. And if someone's standing outside the car punching you, wouldn't the injuries be on your left side? Now, when you look at the distance, and he was supposed to be going after his gun while he was sitting in the car. But you look at the distance from where, excuse me, the police car was and where Michael Brown's body laid, it was about 50 feet. 50 feet. Now you shot him because he was going for your gun when you have shot him by the car. The police knew he murdered that boy, but they let him get away with it. Everyone don't snitch on their people, except us. We just got to do the right thing on that, but not on everything else. You look around our neighborhood, the way people carrying on, they're not worried about doing the right thing. Well, where others are concerned, you want to do the right thing. We got to call our people out all the time. But they don't call theirs out. If things go down, we have to really rely on each other. How can we do it and we don't know if you're going to snitch on us or not? Because they're not going to snitch on theirs. And this, the Negro that I was talking about, who was talking about the black people on slave, talking about, I went in, and it was in high school when I found out Harriet Tubman had a husband. That's known. That's known. But what they got to do with anything? Because she had a husband. Just reaching, digging. And then the worst part of it is when he's talking about black people on slaves. Got nothing to do with slavery. Look, in any part of the world, among all races of people, some of them, as I said before, they contributed to the suffering of their people. Why should black people be any different? But as I said, we're expected to be perfect. If we're not perfect, then we deserve everything we get. And we're not going to reach perfection. No one will. And we're not the only ones who think that. Other races expect us to be perfect. If we don't do everything right, we deserve everything we get. Because we didn't do this and we should have done that. You didn't do everything you're supposed to do. No one does everything they're supposed to do. But what they got to do with your evil? I know when I see I was watching, what show was that? They got Scott Jennings on there. He was talking to, what's that guy's name? The guy that does the sports show because they're trying to be an activist too. Stephen King, Stephen something, but he was talking about affirmative action, and then DEI we gave you that. But he didn't know what he was talking about because the guy, that Stephen King, I think that's his name. He should have told him how affirmative action don't benefit black people. DEI didn't really benefit black people. We got very little out of it. And both of them, white women got the most. In affirmative action, black males got the most because they walked away with 83%. But everybody else lumped together, that made them the minority with 80%, 3%, and white women got the most of it. They weren't satisfied with the 83%. They put things in their daughters' and wives' name, trying to get part of that 17%. They have to have everything or they feel like they're being screwed if they don't have everything. They're talking like they're the ones who disenfranchised now. They're being discriminated against. What I tell them is, well, trade places with us then. If you feel like you being discriminated against, you take our place and let black people take your place. Then you won't be discriminated against anymore. You think they're going to do that? But he was telling Stephen King, I think that's his name, Stephen King, I'm not sure. His first name's Stephen. He said, how long this gonna go on? When is it gonna stop? But I never hear white hosts asking white people how long is it gonna go on, when is it gonna stop. The ones who should be asking that. To ask a black person that's like a white person standing over you, I mentioned this before, beating you and beating you in the face. Then throw you this towel called affirmative action. Beating you some more. Throw you another towel, DEI, to wipe the blood off. So beating you some more than say, how long we gonna keep this up? We? How long you gonna keep it up? They expect us to solve a problem that they caused. But if you don't get the right people there who know how to talk to them, they're gonna keep thinking that and keep saying things like that. I've never seen a white host ask a white person, how long are we gonna keep this racism and white supremacist stuff up? But they'll ask black people how long is it gonna keep up? And they say, you're playing victim? You are, because they're still doing it. They're like a person keep on beating you, then you say, but you beating me. Or stop acting like a victim. But you're still going through it. You are a victim. If you think we're playing victim, like I say, let us take your place, you take our place. Then when you complain, we can say, oh, stop acting like a victim. All day long. But see, they don't snitch on each other like that. They know they don't he don't like they never ask a white person. When are we gonna stop this? They only ask black people that. They do that. They're trying to keep your mind messed up. It's a psychological thing. They've done psychological warfare on us also. Many don't realize that. I know about it, and sometimes I have to still check myself. Just think about the ones who don't know. That's why we treat each other the way we do. We think we're doing it on our own. I was talking about black people are this, black people that. We've been programmed to do that. Talk about each other, talk against each other, think little of each other. Making up names for ourselves, derogatory stereotypes for ourselves. No other people on the face of the earth make stereotypes about themselves. I know I said it before and I keep saying it. Now, back to what I was saying, I'm going to start on the GoFundMe's again. For those who want to start a GoFundMe, there are many people who say they want to leave the country. Those are the ones I'm talking to. Such, don't leave here broke. Don't spend your own money. You didn't spend, your ancestors didn't spend their money to get here. They got them over here. They need to get us back. Start your GoFundMe. And let the purpose be known. The reason I say let the purpose be known, like I said, this is the one who want to go now. I'm not talking to the rest of you. The reason I say let your purpose be known, I ain't doing it on the air, but, well, that's what human beings do. But the reason I say let your purpose be known, because if a lot of people start doing it, it's going to catch the attention of even the government officials and media. And if they say anything about it, we'll say, well, I'll tell you what, give each black person $1 million and we'll get up out of here. Because we're the ones who they really want gone. Because before Hispanics helped to elect Obama, they were honorary whites. They were the darlings. White women used to sing about their Latin lover while the black man was getting shot for just whistling at him. Lucy and Ricky Ricardo all over TV. She's white. He's Cuban. Yeah, start your GoFundMe, then we can ask for that money. Because you want to leave, you have to leave. Don't want to leave here broke. Because I'm telling you, they're gonna right now. Everything's hurting them because see, like when they say Social Security offices closing in rural areas, but it's in rural areas. Black people, we're right here in the cities with the Social Security office. We don't have to travel that far. The ones in the city are still open. They have to come to the city now. DEI, most white women benefited from that. And I told you about affirmative action. We didn't really benefit from that. So now they're hurting their own people right now. They did it to hurt us. But it's not really hurting us right now. Then we see they're going through what we're used to. But look, what it's going to do, they may come after us. So that's why I say I'm kind of a little leery about black people getting out there marching. I'll tell you why. They might try to send you to one of those prisons if you get out there marching. That would be an excuse to send you to one of those prisons. We marched up. I never did march because like I told you before, I never believed in peaceful protest. I don't even think the word peace and protest should be in the same sentence. So I recorded them, for TV. I work in media. I live stream or record the peaceful protest, but I would never participate. I mean, you don't want me in your peaceful protest. I do like the white folks do. There's gonna be some mayhem going on. Like when they went in there in Minneapolis and burnt down the police station. Black people couldn't have done that. They joined the march and black people let them do it because black people was usually dead bodies all over the steps of that police department. Dead black bodies. Yeah, start your GoFundMe. Then maybe later we can $1 million apiece. They want us there. I'm gonna tell you, it's getting pretty rough here in the United States for many black people. It may be time to go home. But we just don't want to face it. We don't know which country. Just pick one. It may be time to go home. This is getting too bad for us. Every time we get rights, time we start doing pretty good, they have a little reconstruction, take all our rights away. When black people was doing good back in the last part of the 1800s, last part of the 19th century, black people was actually prospering. 5 years after slavery, many were. You know what happened? That we wasn't waiting on no 40 acres and mule on reparations because they knew they weren't getting it. Black people had started progressing so fast. They got scared. That's the reason they had a reconstruction period then and started Jim Crow to keep black people from advancing. Then black people started advancing again after World War II. That's when they started segregation. They relaxed some after World War II. Now here we are with another reconstruction. A black man became president. That wasn't supposed to happen. They said it's getting out of hand. Even though it didn't benefit us the way they think it did, it's just the idea to them that a black man became president. We have to do something about that. That's when they start talking about the browning of the United States. By 2050, white people are going to lose their majority status. Well, that's why they're shipping Latinos and other people out, and shipping in white people. You notice they even shipped some students from Africa out, but they're not shipping in the students from Europe out. They're doing it blatant racism right in your face. I mean, this the felon in the Oval Office, they're not hiding it. One thing about it, these other people, they're not used to it. or they're crying hard. And they're just getting a small dose of what we've been getting. I got my Cash App up. I want you to hit my Cash App so I can bring some people here. This is my bigger studio. I know I got a different look. See the Juneteenth flag behind me, but y'all won't come to. You rather go to Cinco de Mayo, which I heard Cinco de Mayo had mostly black people there because the Latinos was afraid to come out. A lot of them were in hiding. But this is my studio I use when I have guests. This is actually a pretty long table. I have 4 chairs around here and different mics around, but I just feel like using it tonight. I have quite a few. See, this is a big area. And I have room in the back. I actually have a fireplace over there, sitting area with couch, big flat screen over there. But I'm looking at. I can see myself on a little monitor right here. It's a very nice office. I need somebody to come and set my grandfather clock for me. I'm not taking the GoFundMe money to buy all that. I need it for the show to keep this show, make this show self-sufficient. But even if I was, if you like the show, just send the money. Don't be worried about what I spend it on. If you like the show, you don't worry about what other folks spend the money on. But like I said, I'm not. I would like for you to do it because I do spend it on to keep the shows going. Like I need this show to be self-sufficient, where it can sustain itself, and you know, because it would be I can't take from one show and put to another. I do need your support on this one. So send something if you can. It don't have to be in my own cup. It's $1. Everything adds up. So a lot of people think they got to send big money or they won't send anything at all. But you don't have to send big money because you're not going to be the only one sending. But it all adds up. You don't want to break one people. I know we all got bills and different things we have to pay. I want to keep this going because I want some other things I want to do that takes money for this show. I need where I can just pull down news articles from the news web while I'm doing this, while I'm live. And that way I could be looking at current things while they're happening before they even come on, before they break it out. Because I am media, so I do have access to that type of stuff, but I need the equipment to do it with for this show. I don't need it for any other show. Like I said, this show has to be self-sustaining because that's what holds me up with my guests. I'm going to start bringing my guests in and get things rolling good because see, they're shutting down the mainstream media. They're wasting time now. They won't tell the truth on anything. They keep things hidden. They're afraid of the felon in the Oval Office. They're afraid of him. They go along with anything he say or do. And it's going to be internet media who's going to have to bring you the real news sometimes that happens. And that's why I want to be able to go right on the line and give news articles as they're happening. And then it's the same web that the CNN and all of them use. Everyone just don't go out and collect the news that come in. It comes to them, most of it. And I need to come to me, so because the shows I have upcoming, I might have panel discussions. We're gonna need that. I'm trying to build the audience back up. I was on No More Water Fire next time, but then I stopped for a while. But I'm gonna continue with it. Send in something or not, I'm gonna continue. Yeah, I'm gonna continue. Look, think about the things that I said. We always want to hold each other accountable, but we don't hold others accountable. If any of us did something wrong or something we shouldn't do, and you want to say like we deserve anything we got. I'm just recapping right now. We deserve everything happened to us because we wasn't perfect. Black people owned slaves, that means slavery was okay. As I said before, there was close to a quarter of a million Jews in the Nazi army. Many people don't know that because the Jews don't bring it up every time someone mentions the Holocaust. It's where the Holocaust was okay because some Jews were killing Jews too. Some Jews were Nazis. But that's how black people talk, like as though slavery wasn't so bad because some black people owned slaves. So think about that. We need to stop doing these people job for them against us. If they want, let them say that. We don't have to say it. Let not plead the case for them. Let them plead their own case against us. Because they're not going to do it for us. I mean, we can't even post anything on social media without them talking about our race. Then when we bring up race, oh, there you go playing the race card. I always tell my wife, you all the one keep putting it in the deck. Stop putting it in the deck and won't nobody play it. So you have to know how to talk to people. Don't be letting they used to you talking all this stuff, all that equality. We all need to get along stuff. No, we don't. You just don't. You don't like me. You just don't bother me. And I'm not bothering you. You hate me, my people, everybody. Just don't bother me. I'm not looking for your love. Because you're sure not going to get mine. I'm all for uplifting us. I know, and I can't talk about the other people who may help us. They want to help us, fine. But I'm talking about us. Because when people talk about us, they don't separate us. Oh, I know there's some good black people and all that. Some of them okay, they're good people. No, when they talk against us, they say blacks. They don't distinguish. And I'm not going to distinguish. Those who are the good people, you know who you are. You should know I'm not talking about you. But I'm not going to distinguish you. I'm not doing that. So, Abraham Faso in Abraham Tory in Burkina Faso, and he needs to be looked out for because I think they're really after him. France and the United States, and this black general lied on him. Get the general's name. So they lied on him. They wouldn't worry about where their gold was going when the France was stealing all of it. And now you got one nation after another telling the French to get out of there. But see, they better than me. Like I said before, I put the army out and their citizens. See, at the end of colonialism, you don't let your former the people who the former colonialists stay in your land. Put them all out. Every man, woman, child, the cat, the dog, put them all out. Send them to the train station, bus, take their money out of the bank, and don't let them have that. They got a house or car, you take that. Send them to the airport and the train station, butt naked with nothing. And they know you mean business, but instead, you could all still say we'll all be one big happy nation. And they still owning everything. Black people only control 4% of South Africans' wealth. The white, there is no such thing as no African here. The white people in South Africa, they're 8.1%. Yet black people only control 4% of the wealth out of 63 million people. That don't sound like some suffering people whose genocide is being committed against them to me. If they suffering, like I say, trade places with the black South African. Give them that 92% of the wealth and you take the 4. They own 75% of the farmland. They need to be beaten off those farms. I didn't say about kill anybody, but unalive, I can't say kill. Scratch that. I ain't say nothing about unalive anyone. Not between them and the person they run across, but you need to run them up out of there. Drinking my this bone broth with some Rise coffee in it. But look, you don't let your oppressors stay in your land. You put them out and let them know don't come back. That's what they're doing now. They're putting them out of these African nations. And Burkina Faso and Abraham Faso, it started with them. And you should hear him talk. He don't play. And he know what he's talking about. He has a plan. He has a multi-year plan. They're talking about he's not holding election. They don't have to hold election. They don't have to be a democracy if they don't want to. The United States needs to stop trying to ram democracy down people's throats. Now we're on our way to not having one. And people have lost their lives because you forcing democracy down folks' throats. They don't have to be a democracy if they don't want to. Some cultures are better not being a democracy. It depends on the culture. They don't want the capitalist system. But under the capitalist system, it's always got to be somebody on the bottom, dirt poor. There has to be for capitalism to work. In a capitalist system, the poor is just as important as the rich. Because that's how the rich gonna stay rich. Because if I got everything, somebody gotta not have something. Gotta be some poor people. We got a piece of cake here. 1% got 99% of that cake. What do you think's gonna happen? Somebody's not gonna get a piece. Somebody's not gonna get some crumbs. Because that's all that's left is crumbs. We're gonna be some people who don't get any crumbs. So for you to have your big piece, somebody has to have nothing. That's where the capitalist system works. And democracy is not for everyone. Even now many of the MAGA people are saying that it's not for them because they think it's too lenient towards black people. Now they don't want democracy anymore. See, people want a dictator when the right dictator come along that they like. See, they like Trump, so they want him to be the dictator. They wouldn't care. Because the dictator that they like. As long as they like that dictator, they don't mind. Because when things weren't going your way, like I said, a black man became president, you lost your minds. So you was ready for any man that come along that sprouted out a bunch of hatred towards people. And you made a god out of him. Like he's your prophet. Some of them, he's calling some of them losing their farms and they're saying they'll still vote for him. Lost some of their relatives, they'll still vote for him. I guess their hatred for others is more stronger than losing their relatives down in prison or losing the farm. Their hatred is greater than losing the farm. The black farmers aren't crying. They wasn't getting that money anyway. You were. and you lose your farm, lose the tractor, lose your hunting dog, lose everything. I wouldn't care. But when the South African hillbilly is going to be taking over your farm, because Vance, he has a farm business, something that has to do with land and farms. He gonna throw the South African hillbillies in your farm. And if you suffering over in South Africa with the odds in your favor like that, yeah, I doubt you even know how to plant a seed. If you that dumb, you 8.1% of the population as out of a nation of 63 million, they 8.1% of the population control 96% of the wealth. And you talking about you can't make it because you feel threatened? You need to feel threatened if you was over my country, like, and then we had those odds. Those people should have ran you up out of there, butt naked. Not for nobody, someone to send you on a plane and lie about you coming. They picked up a Hispanic girl. She looked more white than Hispanic, and he held her for a while, for 30 days. So you see, they're not coming after us. They want us gone, but they're trying to find a reason. They want us to get out there and clown and act up so they can start sending us to prisons. That's one reason that I'm against black people protesting. They want to get us. And if you get out there and do it, if you want to do it, that's fine. I can't stop anyone. I want no criticism if you get out there to do it. Because many of us are programmed for protest. Because it just never really made much sense to me. You hit me upside my head, I'm going to protest something upside your head. You're not going to hurt me, and then I'm going to sit around and try to dialogue with you, prick your conscience. If these people had a conscience, you would have pricked it by now. Prick that neck. Never mess with me and mine. But well, look, remember my GoFundMe, like I said, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, the City of Champions Media. Then on Facebook, I have City of Champions Television. There's also a No More Fire Next Time page. Right now, I'm broadcasting on ESL 89 Blocks Media and on YouTube at the same time. Should be sure to hit up my Cash App and you consider the things I said about the GoFundMe and me try to get the people up out of here who wants to go. There's some who express that they want to leave this country and may be their time. I'm beginning to be one of them. Yep, that may be time to go home. When the land, excuse me, when the land where we're not wanted, but we don't want to leave. I don't blame you in a way because you don't want to leave with nothing. I know I don't. I want to leave with that $1,000,000 or that $1,000,000 from the GoFundMe. They crying already about, because the black boy who stabbed a white boy. They send him money, but they can send a white woman $1,000,000 who called a little black boy the N-word. And we can raise money for ours if we want to. You raise money for yours. Stop trying to tell us what to do. We don't try to tell you what to do. We raise money for anybody we want to raise it for. That boy hasn't been convicted. He need legal representation just like anyone else. We're jumping up in people. These people have to realize you can't keep jumping up in people's face, threatening them and think Niggas gonna let you walk away. Leave people alone. I just want to say to black people, let's stop snitching on each other. Let's cut it out. Over social media all day long, celebrities snitching on each other. And then be the first person to say, I don't snitch. You don't on criminals. Those probably the only ones you don't, I don't know probably, those are the only ones you don't snitch on. So I don't go by probabilities or speculate. I don't like to speculate. I just say what I know. You won't report criminals, don't want to report crime. But you'll talk against your people and think they should suffer because they didn't do everything perfect. So I think I'm going to call it a night. In fact, I'm beginning to get a bit sleepy. So I'll be with you next time. And if anyone want to come on as a guest with me who's in this area, just hit me up on Facebook Messenger. If you have my number, just give me a call or text me. And I'll let you come on with me. And have you pick your topic we can talk about. If you can, then I'll pick one for you. But my first few guests, I'm going to let them pick the topic. But if you'd like to come on with me, let me know. And I think I'm just going to have to call this a night because I'm getting very sleepy. But be sure to hit my cash app. Subscribe to the page, especially on YouTube. Hit the like button and share the video. And then support the cash app. No, I'm looking away. I'm looking over there at my monitor. But look, I'm going to call it a night. So you all have a good night. And I think I need to go get some sleep. Good night.